What's going on, guys? This is Snooze603, and I'm joined today by FakeThriller.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Medal of Honor Warfighter, and this is going to be our final thoughts on it as far as the beta goes, wrapping it all up until the game officially releases. We actually have a lot to talk about in this video, so we're not dragging you through it because this may go upwards of 20 minutes long. We're just going to get right to the point, and then we'll elaborate from there. So, final verdict. Chris, I'll let you lead off. What's your final verdict on the Medal of Honor Warfighter game?
It's a fun game. I will be buying it, and I'll get it on release night.
I agree. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It can be frustrating at times. It's very, very difficult not being able to switch fire team buddies in the middle, but it's... I'll get into that later. I like it. It's good enough. I enjoy it. I'm buying it. I'm pre-ordering it, in fact. And I think it has a lot of potential. If they come out and they fix a lot of these issues, the same as what they did from the Battlefield 3 beta to the game's release, this game has a lot of potential. And seeing some other gameplay of other maps available, I think that this game could be really good. I think we may have gotten one of the shittiest maps they have available.
Right. Let's get something else out of the way that I want as many people to hear as possible, because it's something that's important for this game and whether or not people like it. And that is, this game is not Battlefield 3. Everybody who's watching this is probably into Battlefield 3, or at least into Call of Duty, or have played Call of Duty, and you don't know necessarily what you're looking for. To go into this game and expect it to play just like either of those is wrong for you to do. It's not fair to the game. You're not giving it a fair shake. And I've heard a lot of complaints about a lot of different things that we don't know are actually broken, and we don't know whether the game developers meant for it to happen. So people who say they logged on and played for half an hour and then shut it off because they didn't like it, you need to reassess whether you didn't like it or it felt funny so you didn't do well and that's why you stopped playing, kind of a thing. And, you know, I'm not going to be sitting here telling you guys that you don't actually, you didn't give it a fair enough of a shot to anyone who just simply doesn't like it, but I just want people to know that that's a common thing that happens. When you're taken out of your comfort zone, it's hard to recognize that it's not necessarily a bad game, you're just not enjoying yourself because you're expecting yourself to be really good at it.
Yep, exactly, and I wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said. And I think that's kind of the entrapment that a lot of people have fallen in with this, and it's not even necessarily this. It's a lot of people do it with new games. It's just unfamiliar to them, and they don't give it enough chance. They don't give themselves time to, acclimate themselves to the difference in how it plays, and they just write it off as like, oh, this game fucking sucks. Well, that's not true because you're not used to it. I'm not saying that's the case for everyone. It's just, I can definitely see that as being a problem that a good amount of people are falling into right now.
And here's another thing that I want to sort of clarify, especially with the beta demo, whatever you want to call it, of Medal of Honor, and the attitude towards it. It seems like there is absolutely nothing but negativity going on with it. It's very rare to hear a lot of praise for this game, but there's an issue, and I see two sides to it. The first issue is, what are you really going to praise? I read an article back on IGN or something like that a while ago explaining how they give game reviews. And essentially, nothing scores below a 70 or so because that means there's something fundamentally wrong with the programming of the game, meaning it doesn't function right. So if a game gets a 50, it might be because after you hit start game on the menu screen, it glitches out and doesn't function. Most games get out of the developer's studio in a functioning state. So this game, this game is up to a point where it's a 70, 75, and the way it gets higher is by doing things right. And what a lot of people end up complaining about are these little things that don't necessarily make it a bad game, but people just nitpick it to death. And that's what I feel like has been going on a lot. And if we complain about anything, most of it's just a nitpicking. I have some serious issues with the game if the game ends up with these issues in it. And I'll explain that further down. So just remember that if you hear people complaining, or if you have any complaints about it, maybe try and think about whether just take an outside look at it. Is this a complaint about the game, or is this a complaint about something else? I hope that kind of makes sense.
Right. So, as for my part, like, I want to explain to you why I think this is going to be a good game, why it's earned my trust in it, why I'm going to go ahead and pre-order it and throw away my, well, not throw away, but throw in my $60 into getting this game. And I had to go back and remember Battlefield 3. Now, when Battlefield 3 was coming out, we heard a little hype about it, but I never previously played any, well, sorry, I played Battlefield Bad Company 2 for a little bit. But I got into it late, so it was a low rank, and playing against a bunch of higher ranked people, it was very, very difficult to try and jump into a game very late, like that. So I knew a little bit about it. I remember playing the beta, and I was like, oh my god, this is atrocious. Yep. But there's a lot of hype surrounding it, so I was like, you know what? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to fix a lot of this. And we went ahead and we got it, and I don't regret that decision at all. It was a great game. It still is pretty good. I don't think it's as great as it used to be due to the latest patches, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, people are forgetting the evolution that Battlefield 3 has gone through. And the game we've been playing for the past few weeks and months, the thing that we're used to is a product of many patches and adjustments and refinements. Like we were talking about this earlier, and Battlefield 3 used to have issues with vaulting over objects. You used to not be able to do some things. You used to fall through the map in some places. There was all kinds of things back in the day that were really, really bad, and have slowly been better. So it's, once again, easy to be overcritical because you forget that that's how Battlefield 3 started out.
Right. So I guess at this point what I want to do is go through some things about Medal of Honor that I do like, and I see as potential issues if they go unaddressed, but some I don't think will be a problem come game day release, or within a few weeks, you know, maybe a month. I could see it being on like one of the first big things to be addressed. And however, I don't know how Dangerous Ghost is going to go about addressing it. I hope they're a little more timely with their patching than DICE has been. I'd rather have 5 small patches, you know, like every week or two, than one massive patch like every 3 months. Yeah,
waiting and doing DLC in tandem with patches, unless it's a relative emergency, is really frustrating from at least my point of view. I hate getting new weapon balance things along with expansion packs for Battlefield 3.
Right, it's too much all at once.
Yeah, and it really puts a bad taste, at least in my mouth, about the game. Like, that's kind of what has turned me off recently, is like there's been so much to deal with on Battlefield 3 all at once. It's not the game I want to play.
Right.
But so go ahead. What are some examples of things that aren't a big deal and something that is a big deal?
All right, well, I'm going to kind of reclassify thing I like and thing I don't like.
Okay.
So one of the things I do like about the game is the pace. I think it's pretty much spot on with Battlefield 3. Not too fast, not too slow. You know, bullet damage is pretty good. On the other side of that, the spread on weapon, when you're firing, aiming down sights, long range is just too much. Getting long range kills in this game is, at the moment, damn near impossible. And then hip fire is non-existent. Like, going from something like Battlefield 3, which uses the same engine, to this game, and being like, okay, Battlefield 3 hip fire is like, not only is it good that you can rely on it, so if you so choose, but in some cases you want to rely on it. Like, that is what you should be doing, because it's going to give you that a better edge, a better chance of survival. And you come to Medal of Honor, and it's a non-factor. I cannot tell you how many times I've died because I've tried to rely on hip fire, and I get maybe 1 hit marker.
Yeah, and the hip firing is really, it's misleading. Like I was just playing as the point man, and I noticed as you're moving around, the markers on your screen that sort of show where your bullet spread should be contained to was drastically smaller than I felt it should have been. Like in Battlefield 3, the second you start sprinting, those cursors spread way out, increasing your window of possible hip fire, target area. That doesn't happen as well on Medal of Honor, and it can really mislead what you're actually going to be able to do from a certain distance. It's almost like aiming down sight is pretty much almost always worth it in the game, even if you're using like a zoom scope.
Right.
Right.
Do you want to tackle the next point, or do you want me to just kind of keep rifling through?
You want me to pick something that I like and something I don't like?
Yeah.
Something I like is the overall gameplay. I find that the game has a good balance of relying on teammates, yet at the same time it's possible for one person or maybe one fire team to make a huge difference. Like, and forgive me for praising Call of Duty, but one of the nicest things about Call of Duty is you could be on a shit team and still win if you pull out your A game, like your A+ game, depending on the circumstances. This game is like that to an extent. Obviously, you can't make up for like the worst teammates in the world, or if you're going up against really good players, but there's still a level of I can do this on my own kind of a thing if I need to, assuming you have like a good a competent fire team buddy. Something I don't like, the menu system. I know it's been beaten to death, but that's probably a relatively minor issue that is frustrating at the moment. It's not just the layout anymore. Like it's the function. You click on, like you tab over to a different tab, like say you want to customize your weapon, and for some reason I found it would already be like, instead of now I would select what category I want to customize in my weapon, it would already have me in the optics customization thing, and I was trying to find my cursor. Little did I know I was sitting there changing my optics. It's a really difficult system to navigate, and I would like to see it redone.
I think I'm in the minority here. I actually don't mind the menu system. It's one of those, if you just take a minute, like take 5 minutes before you get into the game and really just pay attention and go through the whole thing.
Well, I know how to use it, but it's like when I'm trying to do something quick, it doesn't let you. And this is something Battlefield had too. I couldn't. You just can't get it done as fast as you could in, knock on wood or forgive me again, but Call of Duty has a menu system that kicks ass.
Yeah, that's true. It was incredibly easy just to change everything around in their menu system.
Just so fast. That's the big difference. It's so fast.
Yeah.
So.
All right. The last thing I really want to talk about, because I'm probably going to take up the rest of this commentary, and we're running out of time at this point, is the fire team concept. Good idea, poor execution.
Yeah, it's a noble idea, but I don't want to say it's game breaking because it's like a core mechanic, but it has to be altered a little bit because it's hard to work with right now. Right.
It's really silly. I don't think it's broken. It's definitely repairable for the couple of ideas I have that I think would help. It's not a balance thing. It's just a matter of making it make sense. So there's two huge aspects of the fire team that I dislike that I definitely think can be changed. I don't know if they're going to change one, but I would love to see it. First and foremost, get rid of auto spawn. I am so tired of sitting there waiting for my teammate, dancing around, trying to get in and out of danger, and sometimes you just have no fucking clue why they're in danger, and you finally get to spawn in. But you don't get to make the decision as to when. Maybe the guy's still on the run because someone's trying to come around the corner, but you get spawned in anyway. Get rid of auto spawn. Give me the opportunity. Just let the timer come down.
Yep.
And then let me spawn in.
And it's fine with letting but it should. I'm not afraid. Sorry, Jesus Christ, verbal diarrhea. I have no problem with them restricting buddy spawns when you're in danger. I just think they should cut the timer bullshit out. Stop resetting the timer. And I think we were talking about earlier, it's a little buggy when you're trying to fall back too. Like, we both had trouble trying to fall back, but it still says our fire team buddy's in danger. And we're like, we don't give a shit. Like, I'm trying to fall back.
Right, and the downside to the whole, like, auto spawn thing is it doesn't give you the opportunity to take that like extra minute, or not the extra minute, but like the extra 10 seconds it might take to get into a more ideal position for me to spawn in. Say you're down to like 10% health, you've got almost no ammo, so I need to be able to heal you and give you ammo. You don't want to do that like if I auto spawn, we're out in the middle of a friggin' meadow. Like you want to get into cover and let where it makes more sense. You want it to be tactical. So the whole auto spawning in to me defeats the purpose of the fire team. The concept of the fire team is to work to really promote teamwork and to promote using tactics and stuff. But when you auto spawn in, it doesn't give you the opportunity to get creative with your tactics, to use any sort of tactics. It's just, as soon as that timer hits 0, I'm coming in regardless of where you are or what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. And like they seem to have some weird quirky bugs about what constitutes danger and what doesn't, because we've spawned in, you spawned in like when I'm standing in a mortar strike zone.
Right.
And you've been killed immediately, and then it doesn't let you spawn in for God knows why. It just thinks somebody's nearby or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So there's definitely some issues with that aspect of the fire team thing.
Yep.
I would the other aspect, are you set with spawn, like talking about fire team spawns and stuff?
There's one more aspect of the fire teams themselves I wanted to discuss, and that was the red highlighting of enemy fire teammates. Yeah,
that's what I was going to bring up. I was going to transition into that because it's kind of fire team related.
Right. So for those that aren't familiar with it, this is what happens. When you're in a fire team, you've got you and your fire team buddy, and when you see your other fire team buddy, regardless of where they are on the map, they've got this like green halo around them. If your fire teammate gets killed by someone else on the other team, that person will show up red for you. So me and Chris are playing, he's on the other side of the map, he gets shot. That guy that killed him will show up glowing red for me, and I can see him no matter where I am on the map.
And not only can you see him and where he is, it's a perfect traced outline of the character model, so you can see what he's doing. You know if he's turning and running. You know if he is laying prone, aiming down sights. You know if he's stuck in a reload animation. Like, you know if he's cooking a grenade. Like, it just gives you too much information against this person. It's almost like person A kills, like someone kills me, so now Snoov gets an advantage against this person for some reason. Like,
right.
It doesn't. I like the idea of like, oh, it's a vengeance thing and everything, but it's too much of an advantage for a skilled player because you can tell exactly what the person's doing, and sometimes you can't even get away. Like, I've killed somebody and I know I'm highlighted, but I need to get away, so I turn tail and run, and that just lets them know it's fine to engage me.
Right. It's not fair. It takes a lot of the skill out of the game, and it makes it, for lack of a better term, too noobish. You know, it's just like, here's the enemy on a silver platter, have at him.
Well, and I think an easy way to maybe fix it is, I was talking to Tony about this, and I think the answer we stumbled upon was take away the super defined outline of the guy, maybe give it a red blur, let the person know like kind of where he is, almost like a heat signature, but not like clearly defined. And then on top of that, let the person who is highlighted know that they're highlighted. Because the example that I came up with Tony was, let's say we're hiding, like I'm in a standoff against two people, and I kill them both. I don't know if I just wiped a fire team out and I'm perfectly safe, or I don't know if one of those guys or both of those guys was one member of two separate fire teams, and now I have two people on the map that can see exactly where I am. So there should be an indicator after you kill someone. If you get highlighted, it should let you know that you're being tracked.
Yeah, no, I disagree.
Really?
I think you should remove it entirely. It's just silly. I don't like it. It takes away that, like I said, it takes away the skill in the game. And I know it's only like a here and there thing, but it doesn't matter. You shouldn't be giving that advantage to someone. You are penalizing someone for being the better player. And that's essentially what it comes down to. I outmanned or outplayed, outskilled, whatever you want to say, that other player, and now I'm going to be penalized for it because I was the better player. That's what it comes down to, and that's not right.
So is the only way to do it is just get rid of the outline?
Get rid of it entirely, because it's not fair. You should not give advantages like that to other players for any reason, period. It's just, it takes away that balance in the game of just being fair. Don't give anyone that edge for nothing. You're like, it all comes down to that. You were rewarding people for being a good player.
No. You're reward. Oh,
sorry. Well, you're being penalized.
You're
for being
penalizing
a good player.
someone for being a good player, right? And that
Right.
is that is a video gaming sin, I think, to restrict you because you're doing well, so now you're penalized.
Right, and that's not fair.
What do you think about like just cutting the length of the glow in half? Like maybe it strobes for 5 seconds.
No, because you're still being penalized. You're giving the edge to the other player because you did well.
What about some sort of alert? Like, is there some other alternative that could be like when your fire team buddy is killed, you're just notified of it, as opposed to paying attention to what's happening in the game? I mean, I guess this is like kind of something that players have dealt with in every single first-person shooter. You see your friend die. Like, ever since Halo had red X's, or like Call of Duty with skulls, like where your teammates die, you should know it's a danger zone. You should know there's somebody there, and good players there could predict or determine where the death came from. So I guess there's no real need for the red outline. I'm just trying to think of a different way that they could present it, because I don't see them taking it out.
If they don't take it out, I think that's going to be one of the few travesties of this game, where they're taking away they're screwing with the dynamic that should not be screwed with, and that is
player versus player, like fair.
Right. You're throwing in a wild card in there that shouldn't be there. That's what's fun about these games. That's what I like about it. It comes down to like person versus person. And that's why I hated about Modern Warfare 3 was that lag compensation. It took away. It was that wild card in the game. It didn't matter what skill level you were.
Yeah, it took away the level playing field.
Right. It gave the advantage. It gave the advantage to whoever it was. Anything. It took the skill level advantage out of it. It gave it to connection-based advantage.
So what if
that's not right?
What if, let's say they built the game around this fire team buddy thing, and the outline is a key feature that they're stoked on. Do you think it would help if the player that was highlighted was given a countdown until he wasn't highlighted anymore? Would that balance it out?
No, because he's still highlighted. No matter what you do, that guy's going to know where you are and where you're going.
Yeah, but at least now you know you're highlighted. That tips the scales back in your favor a little bit.
Not really, because
people forget that they're highlighted. I forget all the time after I kill someone. I have to constantly remember that I just killed somebody, so there's a good chance that someone's looking at me now.
Right, well, this is the problem, because if the guy's right around the corner, like especially the map we're playing on right now, the only map that's been available to us, it's really dark, it's kind of hard to see what's going on. You lose 110% of the advantage. Everything is on the enemy's advantage now, because you know you're highlighted, and you know that no matter what you do, they know where you are, and they can see where you're going and what you're doing if you're standing, crouch, or prone, and you have no idea where they are. You cannot see them or anything.
So here's a good example to help your case too. Is I was talking to Tony about this because it happened to him. He was on the other team a couple nights ago, and he came up behind me and my fire team buddy, and he chose to go for the tomahawk on my fire team buddy. The second he engaged my teammate in the tomahawk animation, he lit up. So Tony was frozen, couldn't move because he's in the animation, but I'm sitting there seeing him through X-ray vision. So that stopped him from getting a double kill flank. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly stand by what I say about this, and I feel very, very strongly about it. If there's one thing you do not do in any sort of human versus human gaming, player versus player, skill versus skill, you do not fuck with the player's skill balance, if you will. That engagement is what the games are all built on. You should not fuck with that in any way to give an unfair advantage, no matter how slight or how major, to any one player over the other, for whatever reason. Period.
Right.
That's the dynamic you should never mess with, because now you're making it unfair to someone for no good reason.
Right. I guess that makes sense.
The only thing I could, and I won't. I don't even know what you're good there. What I was gonna say was the only thing I could potentially see, because everyone hates it, is campers. And I'm talking like legit campers. Someone that finds that one magical spot in the map where you can get down prone and tuck your ass in so only your freaking pinky's standing out. And you just sit there and you camp like, you know, a highway of, there's one spot on the map that's just like a highway for foot traffic. And you just sit there and mow down people. If you're sitting in a spot like that for more than 30 seconds, at that point, I think your place should be known. It's one of those that's like extreme cases where, like I said, they've wiggled into some spot where you literally cannot see them until you're dead, and you're like, wait, what?
Right, not because they killed your buddy.
Right.
All right, so we hammered that down. I guess like you strongly believe there's no way to fix it other than take it out. I think they could tweak it, and I'm hoping that maybe some tweaks are made, like some sort of indicator. Let's move on to one last topic, and something. It's my make or break as to whether or not this game will make it to the end of the friggin' month after it comes out, or it'll severely impact the game's life playtime for me, and that is fire team control, as well as like party control and everything. They've acknowledged, Danger Close, the Medal of Honor people have acknowledged that people can't stay in the same fire team, but the way they've done it makes it seem like they didn't even think people would want to do that. Like change fire team mid-game and keep your whole party together when you're joining a game. And that's just like mind-blowing. I don't know if they're just playing the PR role and they don't want to say, yeah, we're working on it, but it's like kind of weird sometimes, or if they just are so oblivious that they don't realize I want to play with my buddy.
If they miss that critical like piece of the puzzle in making this game, that's kind of a game-breaking issue. Like,
it's hilariously ironic that they would create a game based around two-member teams and then not allow you to permanently lock yourself in with the buddy that you signed on to play with,
or be able to switch your fire team during game.
Yeah.
If you do get split up, or if your buddy's already been playing and you sign on later, like an hour after, or whatever, it doesn't matter. Your buddy's already in and you're trying to join them, and you're like, okay, I want to get in your fire team now.
This is the way it should go. When you're in, let's say we join a game and we get put on separate teams, and we're both in empty fire teams, which happened earlier tonight. I should be able to go down. I should be able to hit back to see the score, go down, find my name, click a button to pick myself up, and then essentially slide my name around to the open slots. Even if it goes to the other team, then when I hit the button to confirm that's where I want to go, a message box pops up saying, warning, you're leaving your current fire team and fire team buddy, and also switching teams. Are you sure you wish to do this? And then you hit yes, and then boom, it goes. Like, that's what should happen. And then maybe even go one step further and give you a notification that I'm trying to join your fire team. Do you want me in there? Right. So we've talked for way too long, so this is pretty much it.
Well, last point I just want to make, just kind of rolling into it. Now, I know we both said we're getting Medal of Honor. That doesn't mean Battlefield is completely disappearing. It's definitely going to come back. We're just taking a well-deserved break at the moment. You know, we have 2 more DLCs that are coming out. Unfortunately, I don't know about the future of weapon reviews at this point, because even though we were promised 20 new weapons over the next 2 DLCs, apparently they've backtracked on that. But I'm kind of starting to find some fun in the game again. I am dabbling here and there. I've been playing on Xbox. We're not bailing on the PS3, but I'm just saying, like, right now I'm having fun playing on Xbox because I have things to unlock again, and there's just having something to do other than just playing has been nice, and not having input lag has actually been like a really, really nice benefit.
Yeah. So Battlefield 3 will resume. And so if you guys manage to get through this half-an-hour commentary listening to us yuck it up about Medal of Honor, let us know what your final thoughts are in the comment section down below, and whether or not you're getting the game, and if you have any specific problems that are keeping you from getting the game. Anything else, sir?
Nope, that's going to wrap it up.
Alright guys, thanks for watching.
Buddy avenged you. You're back in the fight. I need a medic. We're planning a demolition charge. Cover us. Charge has been planted. Stand by for detonation, Atlas. Hit the deck. Use it. Thanks, Mike. Target eliminated. One more target down and it's mission success.
3-5, direct hit.
Atlas, 3-5 is RTB. Good luck. There it is. Take the objective.
Down.
I need ammo.
Hey, get down. One more down.
Planning a demolition charge. Cover him.